Good morning.
Hi, Lori.
I never know which one to click, and I know there's always two. How are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So, Krista, tell me again what your title is, so I can introduce you properly.
So I am a community manager for Shopify, and I'm based out of Kingston, Ontario. Mm-hmm.
Community manager. Sounds like a fun title.
Yeah, it's an experimental job actually at Shopify, so it's right up my alley because I get to try new things all the time. So I like that.
Okay, so at the end, when I wrap up, I will reference the next one, future-proofing your business, covering multi-channel strategy. So this is like Facebook, Instagram, all that, right?
Yes. So that I'm actually not sure. I didn't design that slide deck, Lori, so I'm not sure exactly, to be honest with you, what's in there. Okay. But sorry, what's the title again? It's
future-proofing your business with Shopify, and I probably could have looked that up myself.
Yep. No, you're fine. It's so I believe that talks about omni-channel and also social media. So we're just looking at, what are the multitude of ways that you can approach this versus, this is the one option that you can do.
Gotcha. All righty. So as before, I'll get us going. I'll hand it over to you. And if you just want to talk about the fact that it's going to be recorded, everyone attending will receive, unless you'd like me to do that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I can do that.
Okay, that's perfect.
If I miss anything, let me know because.
Don't worry. Yeah, I'll jump in. And I'm going to turn my camera off while you're doing your thing because I tend not to be laser focused on the screen.
Sure.
And it's,
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So we are, I don't like my camera. I don't like that either. There we go. Got nice blue light in the background. Okay. All right. I'm going to bring this over here. And do I need to do anything or you're good to start it?
I think we're good to go. Yep.
Hey. Let's do that.
So I'm going to share my screen, which will be, no. Sorry, give me just a moment here, actually. How do I do this? Yes. It's been about 6 months probably since I used this particular software to present anything. So.
Okay, so are we live?
So we're good to go. Yep, we're live.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, good morning. We've got a few this morning. I'm trusting, as before, we'll have a few more join us as we go. Welcome and thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Lori Mcguire and I'm the Director of Operations with RTO9. That is Southeastern Ontario's regional partner for tourism. Don't know about you, but sometimes it takes a while for me to commit to a purchase, and a little nudge goes a long way in helping me make that decision, particularly this time of year and as we manage through COVID, of course. Today's webinar, Turning Browsers into Buyers by Optimizing Conversions, is going to shed some light on how to turn those virtual window shoppers into purchasers of your product or service in an e-commerce platform. We have about 45 minutes set aside today for our presentation, followed by a Q&A session. Today, joining us is Carissa Cosgrove. Carissa is the community manager with Shopify and is based actually in Kingston, which is a boon for us. This is the third in a series of 4 presentations by Shopify designed to help business owners better understand e-commerce and how it can help enhance and diversify your revenue stream with online sales. So let's get started. At this time, I'm going to hand the floor over to Carissa and turn my camera off, but rest assured I'm still here.
Thank you so much, Lori, and welcome everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I know that you've already had a few presentations from Shopify, and so I'm going to go a little bit light on sort of what we are. But if you do have any questions for me specifically, just toss them into the chat. We'll get to them if we have a little bit of a break in the middle, or we'll catch them all at the end. So I'll also share my contact information with you. So if you had follow-up questions or wanted to connect with me to have a one-to-one meeting to talk about this, the specifics of your business, I would be happy to do that. So if I don't do that near the end of the presentation, please remind me and I will put that information in the chat. So today we're going to talk about designing to optimize for conversions. So when you go and put your business online, that's great. Now you have a website, but now you need to make sure that people know that the website's there, that people are finding it. So that's great. Then you work to get this traffic to your website. So once the traffic's there, what do? Do they all say, okay, this is great, perfect, I've landed on the right spot and I'm going to make all of my purchases here from now on? No, they do not. They behave in all sorts of different ways. And so today we're going to talk about some of those things and about some strategies that you can use to convert those customers. So that's what you're trying to do when you have a marketing funnel, and sort of the traffic that you're trying to get is right at the very top, and you're trying to bring them all the way down into the bottom of the funnel, which I think that we'll talk about more specifically on another day. But today, let's talk about how to get those people who are already in your funnel making purchases instead of just looking around. So I am going to share a whole ton of information with you. It is absolutely too much for any one person to implement in a short period of time. So please don't let it overwhelm you. I'm really just giving you a general overview of sort of a number of strategies that you could take. What I would invite you to do is, as you're listening to these ideas, that you consider what might work for your business at the stage, whichever stage you're at right now, and then make a decision to implement one, or more. But let's set a goal today of, looking at one of these strategies and implementing that. So questions in the chat, please feel free. And here we go. So what is Shopify? Shopify is an e-commerce platform. We are cloud-based, which means you visit us on the internet, but we're not sort of physically, in your office. We're not a box that you plug into your computer. And we help small businesses, small to medium businesses, and also some pretty big ones, to be able to sell online. So we do this in a number of different ways, through an omni-channel experience, which means that if you have a Shopify store, you can sell your products on all sorts of different places like Facebook or Amazon or Etsy or wherever it is that your customers are. You can be there as well. Our sort of reason for being, or our mission in life, is to make commerce better for everyone. And so really what we endeavor to do is, yes, of course, it's great to have big businesses on Shopify. That's wonderful. I don't want to, be critical of that. But what we really want to do is make it possible for everybody to sort of join this commerce revolution, if you will. So we're working every day to try to make this easier and easier for you so that you are able to focus on your business. And we're sort of going to make some of the rest of this heavy lifting light for you. So we really just talked a little bit about sort of all of this. You have your storefront here, and you have all of these other different places, that you can sell online. So really what we recommend that people do is to meet your customers where they're at. So it's great if you put up an online store and you want everyone to come to your online store, but you might have a percentage of people who want to visit you using Facebook. So when you're, you want to understand your target market and where those people are, and then find ways to be in all of these places at once. So with Shopify, everything is integrated in the back end. So it's sort of like the engine or the powerhouse for your online business. So you can connect all kinds of different other online platforms to Shopify. But the way that we are trying to sort of set it up is to be the heart of your business, where all of the core information about your sales and order management, all of this is all located in the same place. So, we have now over 1 million merchants. These statistics, these numbers are interesting. $202 billion of sales on Shopify so far, which is pretty cool. What's really neat is we just completed Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So this is sort of the biggest, traditionally was the biggest shopping weekend of the year, but it's also the biggest digital shopping weekend of the year. this year, Shopify merchants sold $5.1 billion between last Friday and 11:59 p.m. last night. $5.1 billion. And what's really great about that, hang on just a second, let me look at this because I found it this morning. This weekend, Amazon merchants sold $4.8 billion. So that means in this sort of like revolution of support for small businesses, we have really done something magnificent. And what that means is that many more people are also shopping local, and they're looking for, they want to buy something directly from a person that they know, or a person that they trust, a business that they trust. We expect this to continue on in this sort of direction. So anyway, it was an exciting weekend for everybody. But that's the sort of stuff that keeps us going. Next. So here are a list of sort of some larger brands that are on Shopify. So just to give you an idea of, we can go from, you just have this one single product that you're making in your kitchen, all the way up to, if you were Kylie Cosmetics, let's say. So there's lots of room to grow with Shopify as well. Shopify started as a company selling snowboards, and they built some software to be able to sell these snowboards because they couldn't find what they needed. And a lot of people got very excited about the software they were using and wanted to know where they got it. And so at some stage they made a pivot, and they decided that actually software, not snowboards, was the business. And I think most of them are actually still active snowboarders. So they didn't give up that piece. So again, we talked about this, make commerce better for everyone. Like, let's really just do everything that we can to make each individual person who has the drive and the commitment to do so, to be able to realize their dreams using a platform, using Shopify to build and grow their business. So to the meat of today's conversation, we're going to talk about key topics to consider, whether you already have a store, you're in beginning stages, or planning for your business. Some of the topics we're going to go in a little bit deeper than others. But these are going to be our main bits and bobs for today. So there are always going to be trends and cool new things that we can do, but there are some fundamentals to e-commerce. So the 4 that we're going to talk about today are trust, visual appeal, the mobile experience, and navigation. So trust. So, when we put together an online store, we are trustworthy. I am a trustworthy person. I am a trustworthy business owner. But someone who's visiting me from who knows where on the internet, how do they know that about me? What are things that I can do to help create a trusting experience? So I invite you also to consider your own experience when you've shopped online. So have you been to a website where you thought, oh, this is really great, and you started to put things in the cart, and then you went, oh, something doesn't feel right. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable making this purchase. When that happens to you, also make note of what it is that you think made you feel that something was missing, or you just weren't quite sure, you didn't feel connected to that site, and consider that as well when you're building. So what are some ways that we can help to build trust just by the information that we leave available to our customers on the website? Making sure contact information is easily accessible. So this makes it just easy for people to contact you. You should try to make it as easy as possible for people to contact you. There don't need to be multiple ways. You can use an email address. You can use a contact form. A lot of people, because they're running small businesses out of their home, say, oh, I don't really want to put my home address here because, I don't want to be sharing that information. So an email address in this instance will do. But make it easy for people to find. There's also nothing worse than visiting a website and being excited about something and wanting to ask a question and not having any way to do that. There are certainly times, it may be the same for you, where I've ended up passing on something because I thought, I just don't know how to, I don't have the time to figure out how to reach them so that I can have my questions answered. Posting your return policy. So making sure that it's really easy for people to see what happens if they make a purchase from you and they need to return it. So then however you do that, whether you charge people for returns or you, you cover that expense, how many days, all of these kinds of things should be really easy for someone to see. I also don't like that if I visit a website and I'm like, oh, like what happens if these aren't the right size or whatever, I am also less likely to purchase. If I can see very clearly, hey, we're going to give you 15 days. You do have to ship it back to us and we don't pay for that shipping, but we will refund you in full for the purchase, once we've received. At least I know, okay, I'm going to have to pay $10.95 for shipping, but I understand what I'm committing to when I make that purchase. Certifications and compliance. So, Shopify is PCI compliant, which means it's compliant with all of the major banks. We are a secure platform. We work very hard to build and maintain that. And that is a huge part of our trusting relationship with both our merchants, but also those who shop on the Shopify platform or people who are visiting Shopify stores and they understand that they're doing that. Folks who know or who are familiar with Shopify will understand that they are shopping somewhere where it's very secure. So you can mention that, but you don't necessarily need to do that. If people are making very large purchases from you, you may, change the way you talk about your compliance and these kinds of things. Up to you, but definitely something to think about. Badges and payment methods are another one. So if you want to make it clear to people that they can pay with, MasterCard, with Shop Pay, with Google Pay, with Visa, whatever that may be, you can also do that quite easily inside Shopify. And there are some tutorials available for you if it's that those features aren't built directly into your theme. Okay. So here are all the little slides I should have been showing you while I was talking at you. Apologies for that. Let's see if I can get it together for the next round. Next one. Okay, so let's talk about visual appeal. So when you, just like meeting a person in real life or whatever, we have this instant kind of, your instincts tell you sort of what to think, if you will. Am I in a good place? Am I in a bad place? Are these good people? Are these bad people? That sort of thing. So what we really want to do, statistically, the highest bounce rate, which means someone lands on the page and then leaves and goes somewhere else that isn't your website, are very high on the homepage. So if someone's visiting a product page directly, they're going to probably behave differently than they are if they're just coming to your website for the first time, even just by entering your URL in the search bar. So make the impression count, the quality of your images, the way that the site sort of looks, especially in that top, what we call it above the fold. So just like with your newspaper, that part of the newspaper that is above the fold always contains sort of the biggest story, the most important information, the whatever it is that's critical. I mean, that's how people sell newspapers. So why don't we apply the same sort of thought process to our website? So just keep that in mind. Above the fold, make sure that you really focus some energy and attention to making that a lovely experience. So photography. Products photographed on a neutral background are gold standard for e-commerce photography. It strips away branding, so your product can appeal to different demographics and makes it easy to get a sense of what you are selling. Lifestyle or brand photos are also important. They allow customers to visualize themselves interacting with the product on a day-to-day basis. Overall, photos are a key factor in store engagement, conversion, and retention. So I have an example, or my example here is Allbirds. So Allbirds is this really cool company. They make these really neat shoes. And, the display is large. They've got bright colors, beautiful product photo. It kind of gives you a sense of sort of like the lifestyle that maybe you would have if you wore these shoes. And also, I would suggest it's important to, while we want this to be visually appealing, we don't want it to be busy or crowded. We don't want to take away the accessibility for your customers. So a lot of people are using screen readers or for all kinds of different reasons. We want to just keep that keep a good contrast but also not have too many things going on that can get in the way of your messaging at the end of the day. So Shopify has a website called Burst, and you can visit there if you'd like to get some free images. So we have all kinds of stock photos there for you. So if you're just getting started, or like even if you've been doing this for a while and you think, oh, I just need these like sort of generic images to fit in certain places, or maybe for a blog post that you're doing or something like this, you can go to Burst and you can download those for free and pop them into your store. So color scheme, you might have the perfect product, but if the aesthetic of your website, so like the colors and the fonts and that sort of feel that you're sharing don't work, then people also might be put off and not make a purchase. So color is a powerful tool that you can use to spark interest and emotion. It can be used to draw attention to specific sections of your website, or even lead your customers down a specific buyer's journey that you've set up for them. So the golden rule for colors on an e-commerce website is choose two colors, a primary color and a secondary color. And when in doubt, less is more. So a monochromatic color palette can be a solid foundation, and you can always consider incorporating more color, like through the imagery, for example. So maybe you are going to use purple is sort of your brand color. And then maybe you can find images with pops of purple in there that are going to sort of bring that whole feel of the page together. So when there is more, just like, again, a reminder, when there's more contrast within colors of the background and text, people can more easily read the text. So I don't know if you've ever had an email or something, it comes with like a bright yellow background and the font is white, and like you just can't even really read what it is. So that person has attempted to make it sort of fun and maybe a little bit joyful to receive this email. However, it's not accessible for a lot of people, and definitely not for people with low vision or any kind of maybe not any kind of visual impairment, but visual impairments. Shopify's themes are really built for this anyway. So what I would suggest is kind of get started with what's built in, because it's been put there deliberately. So that is a good starting point. If you want to, or if you're at a stage where you're thinking, I really just need something more, something different, and you're not sure where to get started with that, you can also hire a graphic designer to help you decide, like determine a color palette and a font collection and these kinds of things. But with Shopify, there are some basic settings that are, they're going to do you well. So try to stick with just two fonts. All of our templates come with multiple choices, so you can make your own decision. And I would also suggest that you use non-serif fonts. So non-serif fonts are any fonts without the little kind of swirls at the end of the letters. And those are just generally easier to read. So you can see here in the typography on this slide, we have these three different options. And the third one here is using like oh my gosh, what is the word for this? I was just arguing with my 10-year-old about why he needed to learn how to read it the other day. Handwriting anyway. If you're using this in a small amount, so you've just got this, it's just for your product titles, for example, it's okay. It's still not the best for accessibility, but it's okay to do this. But don't use these kinds of flowery fonts for all of the text on your website. People won't be able to read it, and they will navigate away from your site if they can't. So we're talking a lot about sort of desktop, or it seems as though we're talking about desktop, but mobile is really a critical place for all of us these days. You can address both your desktop design and your mobile design in Shopify. When you build your theme, there's going to be a mobile version that is built alongside that, like a different view. So you don't have to build each of these separately. However, what you do want to do is go in and look at what is your mobile experience. What does that look like? So you can move around between the views in your theme and just make sure that everything fits properly in that mobile space. So last year during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, mobile accounted for 69% of sales through Shopify. So customers very much expect to be able to buy using their mobile device. And we also don't see this as a trend that is slowing down. So we want to make sure that we test both of those. If you have a custom theme built for you, you do also want to test that mobile experience. You can see in Shopify desktop, mobile, and tablet. So have a look at all of those and make sure that you're giving your customer the experience you want to be giving them on whichever device they prefer to use to find you. So your navigation. So your navigation should help people to find things quickly and easily. Good navigation improves the online store experience and helps increase sales and profits. Navigation can influence your theme choices as well. So if you have a large catalog of products, a theme with a larger menu display might be best for you. Try to use only 3 or 4 headers for your main navigation menu. If you need 5, it's okay. But what we really want to do is just sort of keep that as minimal as possible so that it's not overwhelming for someone when they land there. Like, what are all these things? What I want to be able to do is to choose a category of whatever it is I'm interested in, and then to see those options drop down or layout in front of me. If there are so many, some folks have, an about us, a contact us, and a shop page that has one product on it. So it really just depends on the business, but less is more in this particular space. Although if you do have a lot of options, you do want to make sure that you build that into your navigation menu. Right. So different options. One thing that I would recommend for you, you may have a contact us section, is the about us section. It's a great way to, you've got the website anyway. It doesn't cost you anything more to design an about us page, but telling you the story of your business on this about us page so that customers can learn a little bit about you. It helps to sort of personalize the experience and make people feel as though they maybe know you a little bit better than they do if that wasn't there. So similar to, I think last week we talked about, kind of giving people using words on your website in your product copy, for example, to give people the sense that they're almost talking to you in person. So whatever that mood is, whatever your sort of, the way you are as a person or a business owner, that you want that to be reflected in the About Us page. So if I'm going to suggest that there's one out of all of the choices, there's one that's most important in terms of sort of building trust and building relationships with your customers, which does optimize conversions, it's to use that About Us page real estate and make sure that people know a bit about you. So next takes us into building your brand identity. So when you start thinking about brand, you almost always start thinking about, the identity, which is the physical manifestation of the brand in real life. So that's your logos and catchphrases and like headlines and these images, these kinds of things. So we're going to start by talking just about the brand itself. So when you build a brand, you deliver a promise to your customers of how they're going to benefit when they're interacting with your brand. Every good brand starts somewhere, and a good brand constantly evolves. It helps you differentiate your business as you get started and helps your customers understand what you stand for. There are some great workshops at Shopify Compass where you can learn more about this, and you can take some little courses and things. If you're just getting started and you want some tips and tricks there, highly recommend. We also have this really cool business name generator, so we can help you to make some of these choices if you're not sure sort of where to get started. You want to choose a name that's unique, something that's easy to say and understand. I kind of liken it to, like naming someone or like a person or a pet or whatever it may be. You want to think about the initials. What do the initials spell out? What does it spell out? Does it rhyme with anything where other kids might be, like all of these kinds of things you want to be thinking about when you're naming your brand. There are definitely some examples out there if you want to go and search on the internet of sort of brand name fails, if you will. So make sure that you spend some time sort of really working on this, and let us know if you need a hand as well. Okay, so logos. So I think probably it's pretty plain to to know that you want to have a logo for your brand. We also, there may be folks on the call who sort of say, yeah, like logos, it costs $5,000 to get a graphic designer to do it, these kinds of things. Yes, absolutely true. And graphic designers are fabulous and should be paid for their work. However, we don't always need to start with the top of everything. And there are some ways that you can create logos and brand designs on your own. So Shopify has another free tool called Hatchful, and you can go to hatchful.shopify.com, and you can just visit there, and you enter information about your brand and your colors and your sort of mood and these kinds of things, and it will generate a variety of logos for you. So if you're just getting started and you don't have the resources or you don't want to spend the money on the logo, this is a really great place to start. Another good free resource online is canva.com, and you can do all kinds of really beautiful designs. They have thousands of templates, and you can make these really wonderful designs that you can use for your Instagram or your Facebook or even your website's main pages. So that will all tie into kind of the visual style, right? And so the visual style is, again, a representation of your brand. So whatever your pictures are, your images, these kinds of things. I've seen, some folks who kind of, they've done so much work, they put so much effort into all of this. And then at the end of the day, they just sort of go, okay, here's some pictures, and, we'll chuck them up on this page. And so maybe on the home page, you have these beautifully designed images. And then when you get to the product page, you just kind of have some images that are tossed in there because whoever did that was tired and sort of run out of energy. But all of these pieces are critical in building that brand identity, which is going to help build trust, which is going to help drive conversion. So all of these pieces are connected. And I know earlier in the presentation, I just said, please don't feel that you have to do all of these things at once. So I don't mean to make light of that person who was lazy with their product photography, but I do want to point out how critical all of these different elements are and how they interact together to create that complete experience for your customer. So we've talked a bit about design principles, how to build brand identity. And so let's talk about designing the store with conversions in mind. So you should be optimizing product pages and checkout and marketing strategy. I'm going to sort of quickly run through some of these because, again, these are things that you can start to do right away. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about them, but not in too much detail. There are also at shopifycompass.com or in our help center, these kinds of places, all kinds of information about how to do these things. So if this happens to be, you say today, okay, my takeaway from this conversation with Carissa is I need to develop my homepage. Take whatever basic information I've given you, but you can also use all of those resources to help you as you go. So we were talking about this before. A visitor might spend 10 to 20 seconds on your homepage if there's not something that convinces them to stay longer. So if, it's the first impression, it's the way to guide people to your products or pages like your About Us page that you want people to engage with. Some website or some businesses where I've seen that they have a lot of success on that homepage is in that top fold. They're using that space to have a quick video, less than 30 seconds, about the brand, about the company, about the product, whatever it may be that you really want your customers to know and understand immediately when they land. And they're using that particular real estate to do that with great success. So again, that's a little bit of a complicated task. So don't feel like you have to, that's the be all end all and you have to do that. But building a business is also stages. So you can also put that on your, that's definitely something that we want to do once we get, to a certain number of sales or a certain number of visitors or whatever it may be. So every single detail that you have here, I will stop sort of beating that point right now, but every detail in your homepage is going to be important. So, when you're planning this out, what are your goals? What do you want people to do when they land on the site? If they're coming for the first time, they might not want to buy right away. They might be there to learn more about you. So that takes us to the About Us page, why that's a critical piece. And again, it also needs to be very easy for people to find all of these different places, wherever that particular consumer, whatever path they want to take through the site. If you have a more high ticket item, so maybe you sell less products, but they're a higher cost, you might want to anybody could do this and frankly should do this. But if you have a higher ticket item, that takes a lot longer. It takes a lot more visits. It takes a lot more times of a person visiting your website to actually make the decision to make that purchase. So sort of like the difference between, if I was shopping for some notebooks versus a piano. Like I'm not probably, unless I'm buying my dream piano, I'm probably not going to go online, find one in 10 or 15 minutes and press go, but I might be able to do that with the notebooks that I need. Okay, so here is a great example. This is Pixel Eyewear, and they sell blue light canceling eyewear. So you can see they engage here with this full width image. We call this a hero image. And it has a call to action right in the front and center. So you can see right here, that little button that says shop the collection. So you've got this picture, it's kind of giving you the mood. You've got your options in your navigation along the top. But really what you want people to do is you want them to shop your collection. So you just put that button there and ask them to do that very specific thing. They may still go to your About Us page first, but more people are going to go directly to your products if you ask them specifically to do something like this. For potential customers that need a bit more information before making a purchase, maybe they're brand new to your brand, or even like a product concept, something that is brand new on the market and they want to understand it a little bit better before they make that commitment. You can include more information, and now we say below the fold. So once they, land on the website and they stick around and they say, yeah, I want to learn more about this, then they're going to start navigating through your site to find those details. So you're getting clear on the goals of your homepage. What is it that you're trying to do? What do you want people to do when they land on that page? And then short, simple copy that inspires action. So you don't use this space to give them paragraphs of text to read. Use your About Us page or another page to provide all of that bulk information. You want it to be easy to digest, simple to understand. You can even, if you're just getting started, once you get this sort of set up, ask a couple of different friends who you think might be sort of in your target market, if they could have a look, and just ask them for some feedback. Did you understand everything? Was there anything that was, confusing or difficult to read or difficult to navigate to, these kinds of things? And, that can help you quite a bit. Okay, clear navigation. So we talked about navigation earlier. Too many options are overwhelming, but make sure that you do every place on your website where a person might want to visit, that you make it possible for them to navigate to those. You can also use what's called a footer menu, which is similar to your navigation, but at the bottom of the web page, to include some of those links as well. So maybe different policies and that sort of thing can be down there, but just make sure that it's easy for people to find them, because they will trust you more. So here is a great example of, a massive sort of drop-down navigation. This is quite a sophisticated one. So, don't expect to sort of get in and start building and be able to replicate exactly what this brand is doing, but they do make it really clear and really easy for you to be able to find the information and the products that you may be looking for. So displaying best-selling items is another great option. It gives people an idea of what other people are buying. So out of all of our products, what do people like the most? And I think that we can give people the opportunity, obviously, to make their own choices, but lots of folks out there want to know what is it that other people are buying. Easy access to your shopping cart. So a sticky shopping cart is the shopping cart that's available on the page all the time. So you may have seen this. Those are great. But also within Shopify, you're always going to, unless you code it out, but please don't do that. You're always going to see the little shopping cart up in the top right corner of whichever Shopify store you happen to be shopping on. So unless you have a very specific use case for doing anything with that, do not do anything with it. People like it when they see that there. They know exactly what to do. If I'm on a website I've never been on before and I'm looking at a bunch of things and then I think, okay, I'm ready to check out, I don't have to now figure out how to do that. I just know that I can click on this shopping cart. So yeah, it's built in for you, but just keep in mind and don't muck with it, please, unless you really need to. So here's an example. So this is the sticky cart. So I'm shopping on the page, but I can still see all of the purchases in my cart. I can have a look very easily at what I've already got. Did I already put tank tops in here? No, I don't have enough, all of these kinds of things. So it just makes it simple for people to be able to see what's in their basket. So your product page is the closest your customer comes to interacting with your product. We're doing all kinds of neat things with, virtual reality and augmented reality and all of these kinds of things, but everything isn't quite there yet. So for now, the images and the words that you use on your product page are critical. We talked a bit about that last week, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But I will say you're using this space to create confidence. So anything that you would feel it's very important for your customers to know about this particular product, you can build this in. As time passes, you may find, oh, I always get questions about this particular product. So maybe answer that question in your product description. And that will, because if some people are reaching out to you saying, I don't know the answer to this question, there are lots of people who aren't bothering to reach out to you to ask you that. They're just navigating away from your site. So use those interactions with your customers to inform how you build things out moving forward, because none of this is static. So over time, you're going to need to change and update as you go. So using discounts is another thing that you can do if you want to get people to sign up for your newsletter, for example. So you have customers who visit your site, but they don't make a purchase. But if you can get them to sign up for your newsletter, then you have access to their email address and you can send them information about promotions or different deals that you have, these kinds of things. A lot of people will offer, 10% off your next purchase if you sign up for our newsletter, these sorts of things. Won't talk about newsletters today. It's a whole other topic, but, and then subscription models where you have a little bit of a discount. So maybe, if you buy on a monthly plan, it's, $40, but if you buy an annual plan, it ends up being only $32.50 a month or, something similar. Right. So you're using this page to communicate value, to communicate trust. So here's where you're talking about things like, this product is made in Canada, or this product is 100% organic, or whatever that may be. You can also use, logos and images and badges and these kinds of things. So if your business is a certified something by a particular organization that is well known and people are looking for that information, please use that on your product page so that people understand the effort that you have gone to make sure that they're getting the product they deserve. So here's just, another example of communicating that trust and that value. These are all you don't need to worry about making this purchase from us because we will take it back if you hate it. We're going to warranty it for 10 years. We do all of these wonderful social things when you buy a mattress from us. Here they have no contact delivery. So this is obviously a post-COVID design, but any of these features or pieces of information that you have gone to an effort to set up to make sure your customer has that, make sure you tell them about it. You should be proud to do that and they'll be interested in knowing. So, okay. So, here's a little bit more about optimizing product pages for conversions. Just give me a quick second here. I got a little bit of a dry situation from all my talking. So while you have a number of important product details to cover on a single page, don't leave your customers in suspense. Make it clear what the product is, why it's valuable. Make sure that critical information is again above the fold. So you have your product image, and then you have the key product information here. And then underneath below that fold, you can have all of the extra stuff, the ingredients, the extra details, the sizing, all of these sorts of bits. But the critical initial pieces that they need to know should be easy for them to see. Again, back to that call to action, put a button there. I mean, there's one built in on Shopify, but add to cart, buy this now, these kinds of things. You're just reminding people, hey, you're here to buy a watch, right? So buy this watch now. And so you want to make sure that, that you have that there and it's easy for people to do. I've definitely been to websites where I thought, how do I just buy this? I just want to buy this thing. And I don't know, I don't know how to do that. So a lot of people will, unless they're very committed to whatever your product is, will abandon you if it's too hard for them to do. So can I make this video play? Let's see. I can't. Activating a chat. So when you're first getting started, this can be a bit intimidating because it can seem like it's going to take up a lot of your time. There are really fantastic tools with Shopify, including something called Shopify Ping that you can use to make it a little bit easier. So I'd encourage, if you're not using live chat, I would encourage you to have a look. This is a really wonderful way to be able to connect with your customers in real time. If you're sitting at your desk anyway, and you can have this little chat window open and they're reaching out to you saying, is there any way I could get this in a blue or whatever it may be, that it's easy for you to do that. You can hire people to do this for you and all kinds of things. But when you're just getting started, it makes sense just to have some sort of business hours set up and then to be available when you've said you're going to. So reviews and testimonials, these are critical as well for building trust. So if you have these, add them to your website. If you don't have them, start asking your customers as they visit you to let people know what they thought of the purchase. You can offer a discount or a free product or something like that on their next purchase if they do that, but it's not necessary to do that. Most people, if they really love your product, will be happy to tell others about it. I tell people about cool things that I bought all the time. Back to the social proof and guarantees, we were talking about, certified organic and all of these kinds of things as well. Any of that you have, please use all of that and share that information. I am not going to spend a lot of time on the designing your checkout today. What I will suggest is if you are using Shopify, that you do very little with your checkout. You want to make sure that you have a logo there. But outside of that, this has really been built to make it very simple and easy for the end user. So we do get a lot of people who say, oh, I want to change this on the checkout, or I want to put this contact information question above the express checkout buttons and these kinds of things. We don't do that because we actually have spent a lot of time and effort in figuring out what is the best way for this page to be laid out. So, you can change things like sort of some of the color scheme, and you can add your logo and that sort of stuff. But so here's the little bit. So colors and logo and fonts and that sort of thing. So we've covered all of these things. We've talked about security, FAQs we didn't really go into, but basically it's similar to what I was saying about that product page. If you have people come in and they're constantly asking one particular question about the pencils that you sell, build that information directly into the product page. But also over time, if you find you get all of the same questions over and over and over again, build that into an FAQ and just add it as another link on your navigation. If people can go there and they can find the answers to those questions, then they're not going to chat with you while you're sitting at your desk trying to do your accounting or whatever it is that you happen to be working on. Exit intent. So we talked a little bit about pop-ups last week. Pop-ups are basically like a marketing tool that pop up onto the screen whenever the user is doing something that the pop-up has been set up to address. So you may notice sometimes you're on a website and you go to close the tab and all of a sudden something pops up and it says, hey, don't leave us quite yet. We'd like to give you a discount, or come and visit this product. And so what they want you to do is to stay connected. And so sometimes people are just going to close this anyway. They don't care about it. But some people might say, oh yeah, you know what? I actually really liked this site and I'd like to be able to get on their email list so that I don't forget the next time I'm looking for pencils that I really like this. So take advantage of all of these different kinds of opportunities. Do not spam people, please, with pop-ups. So be very strategic about how you use this and think about how you feel when you're on a website and all of these things are kind of popping at you and you're like, I just want to read the product description about the pencil, please. Any kind of COVID-related things that your customers may need to know, address that before they're gone. You can also put, you can speak to this a little bit in the confirmation emails and that sort of thing that your customer is going to get afterwards. But a lot of people right now are just using a page or a section in their navigation to address what they're doing to address COVID, and then allowing customers who want to know to navigate to that. Abandoned carts we're not going to get into today, but this is a great way to convert people. Tons of people abandon carts. You can set up in Shopify to very easily have a reminder email sent out to somebody. So if they were shopping on your website and then their kid's school called and they had to jump up and run to the school for some reason, they forgot about you, they came home, they closed their tabs. But if you can send them that abandoned cart email, then they'll remember, oh, right, I was shopping for pencils earlier today before everything chaotic happened, and I do want to complete that purchase, and so I can go ahead and do that. Most people are used to these as well, so it's not, people aren't annoyed by them. Helpful links. So here are links to most of the things I think that we talked about, most of the different places where you can go to find more information. So at Shopify, we're just constantly building resources for you. And so if there are questions that you have or resources that you are looking for as well, and you don't know where to find those, please tell us, because we would like to know, because maybe we're not creating them because we don't know anyone wants them yet. So that's really how we build everything is, some of it's our own ideas, and then some of it comes from feedback from our merchants, but we do take that very seriously. And we do build a lot of our products and features based on feedback that we get from folks like yourself. So it's a gift. And so we're always looking for more feedback, positive or negative, we'll take it. So next steps. Okay. So this slide is asking you to action 3 things. If you're comfortable doing that, please go ahead. But what I would really ask you to do is to find one thing that you can action. So even if it's, oh, I'm not sending abandoned cart emails, you can go into Shopify and you can very easily basically click a button that will turn that on for you. And then now you are. So, please at least choose one, but the slide is asking you for 3 things. I think we're all under enough pressure. So I'll take one if you can swing it. But that is really everything from me this morning. I talked at you for a long time. That was a lot of information. I hope that you found some of it useful and not too overwhelming. I promise you can do all of these things, but really taking advantage of those resources like Shopify Compass and the Shopify Help Center when you're actively engaged in one of those activities is going to give you some additional support when you're getting set up. So thank you. And I am here if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Carissa. And if anyone does have questions and would like to enter them into the chat room, that would be great. I guess this is why marketing and advertising people make so much money. It starts really with just taking the first step and asking for help when you need it. It's the main reason that RTO9 has connected with Shopify and Carissa and Cynthia to help everyone get online if you're not there, or to help improve the experience for both you and people who are buying off your site. So please don't think that that this is the end of the assistance that we can offer. We're really here to make this work for you, and both myself and Carissa are available to help you through this. I'm going to push that a little bit more towards you, Carissa, because I don't know a lot about Shopify, but you are here in Kingston, you're local, and part of what you do is to really help people with the nitty-gritty of making Shopify or helping Shopify work for them. So a recording of today's webinar will be available. You will actually receive an email with that link in your inbox. We do have one more Shopify webinar this Thursday at 11 a.m. It is future-proofing your business with Shopify. So that's discovering multi-channel strategies that can help you sell more online. Let's say you want to sell through your Facebook page, you want to sell on Instagram, those sorts of things. And there are more links for today's webinar, as well as the two we had last week and the one on Thursday, can be found on tourismtalk.ca. You can also find them on our RTO9 Facebook page if you look there. And we're a small team at RTO9. There's only 4 of us, but we're pretty mighty. And again, our goal is to help you get to where you need to be, not just to provide webinars. So if you do need help, please reach out to myself or to Carissa. Carissa, I see you've got the shopifykingston.ca website as well as your email moving forward. So if you have not registered and are interested in Thursday's Future Proofing Your Business, again, you can find that on our Facebook page. And if there are no questions, I am going to thank everyone. We're a few minutes left, but I'm going to thank everyone for attending. I know it's a lot of information, particularly if you don't have an online site, but again, this is why Carissa is here, and I really would encourage you to reach out to her at any point. And again, if RTO and I can help you with anything tourism related, that's why we're here. So Carissa, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and providing this information for everyone. And I look forward to Thursday. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Thanks so much. It was such a pleasure to be here. Yeah. And I look forward to chatting with everyone again next time.
Terrific. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.